All right, everyone, listen up, because it's going to cause some controversy, I'm sure. It's time to open up the conversation and get down to the hot topics of the day. Those stories that'll dominate the dinner tables tonight. You know, if it's still dinner tables, whatever you're doing, talking. First up, the AP. Is the AP becoming PC, politically correct? The Associated Press is dropping the term illegal immigrant from its style book. That's a guide for journalists on proper grammar and word choice when writing or reporting. Okay? Furthermore, the AP says the word illegal should describe only actions, not people. For example, the AP says illegal immigration is acceptable, but illegal immigrant is not. In a blog post, the executive editor explained the reasoning, quoting her now. She says, we had in other areas been ridding the style book of labels. We concluded that to be consistent, we needed to change our guidance. Apparently, Senator John McCain won't be following the style book. He was at a town hall when someone asked him to stop using the, quote, I word that is illegal, according to the Arizona Republic. This is how McCain responded. He said, quote, someone who crosses our borders illegally is here illegally. You can call it whatever you want to, but it's illegal. I think there's a big difference between someone who does something that's illegal and someone who's undocumented. I'll continue to call it illegal. To discuss here now with me is psychologist and relationship expert Aldwin Tart. Hello there, Aldwin. Veteran Washington journalist and blogger Craig Crawford, Emily Miller, senior opinion editor of the Washington Times and television, and National Public Radio host Faith Saley. Okay. Is that right? Saley, Sally? They said.
You got it, Don. Saley.
Saley. Okay, so Faith, since I butchered your name, I'll start with you. Do you agree with John McCain or do you agree with the AP?
You know, I applaud the AP for being conscientious about language and being transparent about why they're evolving or making choices about their language. But my feeling is what's more important than where you stand on the, whole immigration morass is that this sparks a debate about language and how it matters and why it matters to Americans. And we saw that last week with Alaska Representative Young using the W word, wetback. And we see it this week with Rutgers firing their coach for using gay slurs. Yeah.
The wetback word and the illegal immigrant, that is not the same thing. And by the way, now I know you. You're the CBS Sunday Morning lady, and I see you all the time.
I'm that lady. That's
okay,
right.
Now I get it.
No, I'm not.
Is there anyone on this panel? Raise your hand if you disagree with what Faith said and what. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, John McCain's absolutely right. And it is a shame. The AP claims it's this, the wire service of record and straight news. This is clearly an agenda to persuade the public leading up to the Senate debate over immigration reform. I mean, it is ridiculous. They are illegal. So they are illegal immigrants. There's nothing else we can call them. It's like saying, a convicted felon is just someone who's living for the time being in prison.
You bring up
this is what it is.
A very good point.
PC language gets so completely out of control, and once again, we've seen that happen in the mainstream media.
I think we got to remember, Don, the AP is not saying banning the use of the word illegal. You mentioned in the setup, they're saying illegal immigration is still okay. People who are here illegally is still okay. They're trying to get away from stigmatizing people
Emily has a very good point. She has a very good point. When you say the word criminal, criminal is not a good-sounding word. But we still use the word. When you say the word felon, felon is not a nice sounding word.
But we don't call them a criminal. We don't call them a criminal until they're a convicted criminal. I mean,
yeah, but if you cross the border illegally, aren't you illegal? I mean, I don't understand.
You are a person who's here illegally, which the AP
Oh my gosh, really? This is all semantics. Go ahead, Aldwin.
Why can't we just say undocumented worker? I mean, if people find it offensive, then we have to listen to them.
Because then, where do you stop? You have to go, okay, I don't want to be called a criminal. Okay, fine. I am a person of criminal.
It's not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, how about this? Okay, how about this, Don? If we're going to call them illegal immigrants, then what do we call the people who hire them? We should call them criminal employers.
That's right, because they love to pay them below minimum wage. We love to employ them.
Listen, no one said they should. No one said they shouldn't. Faith, you got to talk a little bit earlier. I cut you off, so I'll give you the final say on this.
My point is that wherever you stand on this spectrum, I mean, look, there are still people on the far right going to be calling them aliens, and people on the far left are going to be hilariously calling them, would-be Americans and economic refugees. What I think is good about what the AP is doing is that it's sparking this debate. We're all talking about it, and we can all name, immigrants whatever we want to, as long as we put, you know, our own personal air quotes about it. And the AP is just trying to be consistent.
Hey, I don't like the fact that we're just dehumanizing people. I mean, they're real people here working.
Alduin.
I'm sorry.
Dehumanizing people.
Anybody. That's not
illegal aliens.
This guy
If people
is
find it
blue.
offensive, we have to listen to them.
Hang on. Go ahead, Emily.
The sky is blue. Somebody who is a drunk driver, it's not
Let
somebody.
Emily finish.
Hey, let me finish talking. If you're someone who's been a drunk driver, if they drove drunk, they are not somebody who is behind the wheel after 15 martinis. It is what it is. It's common usage. It's exactly factually correct, and this is what journalists use. And now we've got the AP style book, which all of us who are journalists use as our guideline.
I said Faith would get the last word. You guys are still talking. That's it for this. We're going to move on. So stay with me, guys, because up next here on CNN, they post pictures, personal information, and funny moments about their kids. But could parents' comments on social media websites hurt their kids later in life? My very noisy panel, they follow direction. They're going to weigh in next, right after this. So my panel's back. We have another topic, but let's bring them in real quick because I want to talk about something we were talking about in the break. Alduin Tart, Craig Crawford, Emily Miller, and Faith Saley. Okay, so Faith, you said we've got to evolve same-sex marriage. You don't like calling it same-sex marriage. You like calling it marriage equality. What's up with that, Miss PC?
Well, I don't know that that's PC. I think it's more Catholic with a small c. It's, you know, years ago, broadcast journalists were saying homosexual. Then they started saying gay marriage, same-sex marriage. It's about marriage equality. It's not about gay people and straight people. It's about everybody having the right to be married. Okay. And what I said to you during the break was in the 60s, they didn't call it black rights. They called it civil rights. Everybody gets rights.
Well, we made the change.
I was saying, I was just at the Marriage Bureau this week, and they didn't say gay marriage. I'm marrying my male partner of 25 years on Saturday, and it just said spouse and marriage. There was no distinction made. I look forward to the day we just all call it marriage.
Okay, so I have to say CNN made the change 6 months ago, so we are way ahead of the curve. Here's what I say as a person like you, Craig. I don't care what you call it. Just give me the same rights. You can call it whatever you want. You just want the same rights.
Congratulations,
okay, so listen.
Craig.
Yeah, congratulations, too.
Yeah, I wish they would
got lost in the mail. But
I just wish they'd shorten the lines at the Marriage Bureau. That's all we got left to complain about now.
Let's move on. Up next for the panel, parental TMI. You know what I'm talking about. Moms and dads gushing about their kids online and everywhere else. And for many, it's simply too much information, TMI. Well, now there is a new book, quote, all about the jaw-dropping, self-indulgent, and occasionally rage-inducing world of parent overshare. Author Blair Koenig even divvied up the postings into categories like mommy jackers and sanctimommies. It's based on her blog, which chronicles parents oversharing. Here's one example. OM goodness, my daughter has officially begun puberty. She's only 10 years old and tells me after school today that she started her period. Is this happening? At school yesterday. Is this really happening? And another, my baby is so smart. How many 21-month-old babies do you know who can count to 10?
I don't see the problem.
Go ahead, Alderman. What do you mean?
I don't see the problem. I mean, if you're a parent and you're sharing milestones your kid is going through, there are lots of people and relatives that like that comment. If you don't like it, you don't have to comment on it. But if I want to share what's going on with my child, it's okay.
For the guy talking about a daughter getting periods, come on, I don't want to hear that. Emily, way too much, don't you think?
That is completely disgusting. I would shoot my father. And I have a gun if he did that to me on Facebook. And I do see this happening when people, I mean, we all like to see our friends' kids and families' kids and, you know, Christmas or Easter or their birthday. But you get what I find to be the strangest thing that parents do on Facebook is they address their child like, John, you were born 8 years ago today, and you've been a blessing in our lives. Right. And I'm thinking, John's not on Facebook. He's down the hall playing video games. Go tell John about the blessing of his childhood. Why are you telling me?
By the way, Emily,
there are going to be some very embarrassed adults someday. I'm glad I was raised in the days when all those embarrassing pictures are in the photo album in the drawer somewhere.
Yeah, Emily, not very PC to say you're going to shoot someone. That's a whole other gun control topic.
Well, no, actually, I have a perfectly fine. I don't believe in PC. I think that's a big problem in our country. So I'm perfectly fine with saying I'm going to shoot someone. Yeah. My father should know that he is safe, and I'm not going to shoot him, though, directly.
So, Faith, what about
the kids? Enters my house.
Do you think this is embarrassing for the kids? You were talking about the parents.
first of all, I have a 10-month-old, and of course I think he's the most adorable, delightful person in the world, but you don't have to, and I'm not going to inflict that on you. The only other people who think that are my husband and my father. So I think you're right. What about the kids, right? When my kid's in high school, and I'm telling him, you know, be careful what you post on Facebook, because it's always going to be out there, he can say, you know, well, did you do close-up Instagram of my brists? Like, it doesn't really give you a leg to stand on.
You know what it's all about? It's about us wanting more attention. If I'm a parent and I talk about my child and people are commenting and having comments, it makes me feel like I have attention, and I feel like people are noticing me.
But that's the slippery slope.
With the internet, it's your 15 seconds of fame everybody wants
to run. But Faith, and I know you'll relate to this, when people talk about their kids like that, it's like the dog. Remember you did the thing with the dogs about dog lovers?
Thank you, Don. I get so much hate mail for that.
Enough already.
Thank you. Thank you. Dogs aren't people.
Love the kids.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alderman Tart, Greg Crawford, Emily Miller, Faith Saley. Thanks to all of you.